September 11th, I wrapped up at my job in upstate New York, gave no notice, but apologized, clocked out, went home, slept, got up the next day, got on a bus back to my former unit to request reassignment, receiving no further orders, got on with my miserable life. So I don't always necessarily make it policy the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth with just everybody. I had people trying for 15 years to make me sell cocaine. Somebody lost a bet, got tired of waiting, came down. Like, I ain't that worried about you, bitch. If your whole spiel rests upon me selling cocaine, you were never in the right place to begin with. Think it would have made more sense? 15 years? I didn't have sex with the Creole girl. Like, I know I don't have any kids. Act like I might not be sure. Bitch, you don't even know I went back to my unit. So all these other tough guy big mouths, you've been lying to them this whole time. They're worried about where their paycheck's gonna come from after I kick your ass. If it's illegal, it's not the law. Fair enough? There has to be some moral obligation for the community to tolerate this activity. But it's up to them, not an illegal phone operation on the other side of the Somalian conflict, the wrong side. The problem with liars is they don't always come back and apologize. Washington, our little American slave boy said we could. Like, I gotta hash out every single thing I ever posted on Facebook when most of it had sources. And why would I expect anyone could possibly be dumb enough to think we were negotiating? And why would it matter otherwise? Trying to make an insider out of me. That means I got a fan. In 2014, Doctor ripped off insurance. 2015, collections tried to kill me. Turns out Joey Greco was there, not to my face. They said your protection ran out. I tried to subpoena the hospital that stole from the insurance company. Right, here's your money. You're lawyering up. Well, if I was lawyering up, I think he would have took the case instead of taking me for 5 consultations. So I had to look into it. As soon as I leave town, he ran away. Lawyer took me for $500 first. Long story short, I come back, and my reason for living is 7 months pregnant. They got her all strung out so they could connect the scenario to a crime against humanity, because they never could pin me directly. And they act like I never left. Here's the thing. There is an illegal phone operation on the other side of Y2K. Idi Amin, last king of Scotland, chief of the UN Security Council. Right, so if you're over here enjoying the protection from that, all right, either you're qualified and you know you're wrong, or you're not. In the meantime, Libya's pet pontiff is down. Not to be sacrilegious, but Benghazi was my fault. Had to be that guy's fault. Otherwise, it was somebody expensive. Well, the first thing I did when I got back was go to the Secret Service. Various federal agencies, military installations. Like, it's not a question whether, like, whose team I'm on. We have a constitution here, right? There's the mail, the dollar. Well, in 2015, all that bad stuff, like, I said nasty things. I apologize. I'm sorry. It's the low point of my life. Never happen again. But if anybody's saying they saw me hit someone, they're lying. I mean, we take that to the real. As I mentioned, somebody got tired of waiting for me to sell cocaine after 15 years. Joey Greco came down and make a production out of it. I'd never been married either. I'd remember it. And I've been sitting in my room for the past 10 years with an engagement ring on my neck by myself. So you're disappointed. There's this perception that because the military doesn't have the jurisdiction to confront threats on the land, that other avenues can be used to address threats. but there's always a bigger fish. So somebody thought they could follow us around Libya, raping people and smoking ambassador and hassling Navy SEALs because our American slave boy said so. Who's the president of France? It's still Macron. Remember what they did to Pfizer? The Hospitallers are not going to be good for this one. Wasn't Francis, Pope Francis, His Holy Eminence, wasn't he a Templar? He wore a Templar signet. Pretty sure that means he was a Templar. And if they were calling de Gaulle a terrorist, because the follow one may presume it was the Hospitallers calling him that, so they're trying to resurrect this Italian bishop. He looks like the kind of guy you probably learn how to work with. So why don't we roll out the red carpet right from Paris to Benghazi? Unless you absolutely needed me to sell cocaine for you to stay in charge. Needed an excuse to flood the streets with fentanyl so the Haitians could build an empire. The Supreme Court, imagine if they had just let me subpoena the hospital. What Hitler did and the Teutonic Knights did to Rome during the Holocaust was terrorism. Not as bad as what they did to the Jews, but not to be overshadowed. Fluoride was never medicine until they forced them to acknowledge it as such, and we sold cocaine at the drugstore. Make me sell cocaine while you mutate these people's kids in snake oil and rainbows. De Gaulle, JFK, Korea, the UN, Banana Wars, Gandhi. Gandhi might have had justification from the Protestants. The Banana Wars would have been justified by Gandhi. And maybe there's no way for the Hospitallers to compete with Gandhi. He might just have them beat. We're not going to turn global high finance into a contest to get bent over and pass the buck. Call it medicine. Medicine is the law, because first do no harm or you're not the doctor. And then when you are a doctor, Alexander the Great made it the law. You read and write in the English alphabet because Alexander the Great, the first true legal king. Separation church and state is inherent in a religion. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a word for it. Caesar became emperor by crossing the Rubicon. These guys want to act like I was with the SEALs and with the spec ops and rangers. I was complaining about how they were treated. I wasn't testifying against them as an insider. Remember Pfizer? That was incorrect. Quick, go get them. We did not attack Libya the first time for minting gold dinars. Okay, we attacked it for minting gold dinars on severe and prolonged child abuse. The agitation in the zeitgeist about the world being ruled by pedophiles, adrenochrome. That's the only reason they get away with calling it DEA business, so they can lock it down. But you have probable cause, or there's a judge with a warrant on his desk. The devil had 40 days and nights. I've been writing to the CIA for 9 years. Theologists just catch opportunities like this. We notice, like the Irish invented whiskey, for instance. What would you do with all that oil without distillation? So why should the Irish have to trade our firstborn to keep gas prices down? Mitochondrial leave. If DNA proves the Bible is wrong, you have no religious objection to a paternity test before you go hunting for your dad. Islam believes our ancestors escaped enslavement by theirs, and we are all born fugitives of a debt that can never be repaid. Scotland invented criminal forensics. If there's Muslims, we can afford it. The corporation has divine right to forgive from the churches of Scotland and Italy. That's it. I carry warrants from Jerusalem and Colombia, and I will see them delivered.